Commander Zekthara's tentacles twitched nervously as she reviewed the intelligence reports flooding her neural interface. The Galactic Coalition's Xenobiology Department had just finished their preliminary analysis of the species they'd encountered in the Outer Rim. Humans, they called themselves. What she read made her chromatophores pulse an uncomfortable shade of amber. "This can't be accurate," she muttered, her translator converting her native clicking into standard Coalition dialect. Cross-reference with historical databases. Her aide, a crystalline being from the Praxian system, resonated with uncertainty. "Commander, we've verified the data 17 times. The humans, they document everything." The bridge of the Coalition dreadnought Harmony's Edge fell silent except for the gentle hum of life support systems. Zekthara had commanded fleets across 3 galactic quadrants, had overseen the peaceful integration of 47 species into the Coalition. Never had she encountered anything like this. "Show me," she commanded. The holographic display materialized, revealing what humans called the Internet, a vast repository of their civilization's knowledge, entertainment, and most disturbingly, their military history. The AI systems had been sorting through petabytes of data for cycles, categorizing and analyzing human culture. What they found defied every assumption about intelligent life. The first clip began playing, grainy footage from something called World War II. Zekthara watched in growing horror as human soldiers, armed with primitive kinetic weapons, charged across open ground under devastating fire. Many fell, but more kept coming. The narrator's voice was calm, almost casual, as he described tactics that would make veteran Coalition Marines retreat in terror. "They fight in conditions that would kill most Coalition species," the aide observed, its crystalline form flickering with distress. "Look at the environmental data. Freezing temperatures, toxic atmosphere, radiation levels that should sterilize the battlefield." But it wasn't just the environmental resilience that unsettled Zekthara. It was the sheer relentlessness. Clip after clip showed humans in impossible situations, outnumbered, outgunned, yet somehow finding ways to not just survive, but win. The Battle of Thermopylae, where 300 warriors held off hundreds of thousands. Stalingrad, where an entire city became a fortress. The Alamo, where defeat became legend. "Commander," her tactical officer interjected, "these aren't just historical records. They're entertainment." The revelation hit like a plasma bolt to the neural cortex. Humans didn't just document their wars, they celebrated them. Movies, games, books, entire industries built around conflict. The AI had cataloged thousands of examples. Stories where outnumbered humans fought impossible odds against overwhelming alien forces, and won. Zekthara's chromatophores shifted to deep purple, the color of profound unease. "They fantasize about fighting us? Not just fighting, Commander. Winning." The display shifted to show human entertainment. Films where aliens invaded Earth only to be repelled by humans using everything from advanced technology to agricultural equipment. Games where players controlled human forces against galactic empires. Books describing humans as the galaxy's apex predators, spreading across the stars like an unstoppable tide. "This is their idea of fun?" Zekthara whispered. Her communications officer, a 6-legged being from the methane clouds of Kepler 442b, spoke up. "Commander, we're receiving a transmission from the human vessel." The main screen flickered, revealing a bipedal figure in what appeared to be a military uniform. The human's face was unmarked by combat, unusual for a species that seemed to live for war. But its eyes held an intelligence that made Zekthara's secondary heart skip a beat. "I'm Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Defense Force," the human said. "I believe you've been studying our cultural archives." Zekthara found her voice quirk. We were attempting to understand your species before formal contact." Admiral Chen's lips curved upward, an expression the AI had identified as potentially threatening. "And what did you learn?" The bridge crew exchanged glances. How did one explain to a species that their own entertainment had terrified an entire galactic civilization? "Your people seem remarkably adaptable in conflict situations," Zekthara managed. "You watched our movies, didn't you?" Chen's expression grew more amused. "Let me guess, Independence Day? Stargate, Ender's Game?" "Among others," Zekthara admitted. Chen laughed, a sound that made several bridge officers reach instinctively for their sidearms. "Those are just stories, though I suppose from your perspective they might seem like training manuals." Are they not? The human's expression grew serious. Commander, humanity has learned to survive in a universe that has tried very hard to kill us for millions of years. Ice ages, supervolcano eruptions, asteroid impacts, plagues, predators that could tear us apart with their bare claws. We didn't just survive, we thrived. We turned every threat into a challenge, every disaster into a lesson. Zekthara felt her species' instinctive fear response triggering. What do you want from us? The same thing your coalition offers everyone else, Chen replied. Trade, knowledge, peaceful coexistence. We're not the monsters from our movies, Commander. We're explorers, scientists, teachers. We create art and music and literature. We fall in love and raise children and dream of better futures. But you are also warriors. Chen's expression grew distant. When we have to be. When there's no other choice. When something threatens what we protect. She looked directly into the camera, and Zekthara felt as though those human eyes were looking straight into her soul. But we'd rather be friends. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Zekthara's aide finally spoke. Orders, Commander? She looked at the tactical display showing the small human fleet, outdated by coalition standards but crude by beings who had turned survival into an art form. Beings who dreamed of war but chose peace when given the option. Open a channel, she decided. Invite Admiral Chen aboard for diplomatic talks and... She paused, her chromatophores shifting to the deep blue of resolve. Remove all weapons from the meeting room. If they're anything like their entertainment suggests, they'll find a way to turn our own furniture into weapons anyway. As her crew hurried to comply, Zekthara couldn't help but think that the galaxy was about to become a much more interesting place.